Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a clown control deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Gloomba. And this deck is an extremely old school deck with a modern twist on it. I absolutely love this deck because Dream Clown and Crass Clown were actually released in my favorite pack ever, Metal Raider. And definitely comment down below what your favorite pack is. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check the Patreon on the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. And definitely give Gloomba some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Dream Clown. This card is a definite 3-of in the deck and is the actual main boss monster of the deck, with the ability that when this card is changed from attack to defense position, select and destroy one monster on your opponent's side of the field, which is a great ability because this is way before we actually had once per turns. So as many times as you can switch this card's battle position from attack to defense position, it actually will destroy something, which is super cool. This is a really old school strategy, so I have some super spicy text that we're going to get into in just a second though. We then play 3 copies of Crass Clown. Crass Clown is super cool in this deck as a 3-of as well, because this card has the ability that when this card is changed from defense to attack position, you return one monster on your opponent's side of the field to their hand, essentially being the opposite effect of Dream Clown, where this card bounces, Dream Clown actually destroys, and where this card actually is changed from defense to attack, your copy of Dream Clown is changed from attack to defense, being basically parallels of each other, which is super cool. The only downside of this card is actually a fiend monster and not a warrior. We then play 3 copies of Neo Space Connector. Neo Space Connector is great because we do play in a Zold package in this deck to help us get our copy of Dream Clown out to our side of the field. And when this card is normal summon, you get to special summon a Neo-Spacian monster from your deck to your side of the field, which is always going to be a copy of Aqua Dolphin. Aqua Dolphin is what you always summon off your copy of Connector, and this card gives you a lot of knowledge of your opponent's hand because it actually lets you look at your opponent's hand, which is super cool. Because once per turn, you can discard a card, look at your opponent's hand, and choose a monster, and if you chose a monster with attack greater than or equal to the attack of the chosen card, destroy the chosen card. And if you do, inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent, otherwise take 500 points of damage, which is super cool just to be able to look at your hand regardless if you get to pop something or not. We then play 3 copies of Sublimation Knight. Sublimation Knight is great in the deck as a 3-of because this card is basically 3 more copies of Connector, because this card has a great ability. If it's normal or special summon, you can equip a Fire Warrior monster from your hand or deck to this card as a equip spell, which is a great effect to be able to equip your copy of Squeak Knight, because Squeak Knight is a Union monster, and then you can basically just move the Squeak Knight up into the monster zone and be able to link into your copy of a Zold, which is just so cool because Squeak Knight is a Union monster. I love the combo of these two. That's basically like an alternative version of Neo Space Connector and Aqua Dolphin, giving you basically 6 insane normal summons to go in for a Zold. We then finally play a single copy of Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. Immortal Phoenix Gearfried is a definite 1-of in the build, and this is actually the card that I search off of a Zold's effect, so I can have something for follow-up on turn 3, which is just super cool. This card is a walking negate. It's easy to summon to your side of the field, because all you have to do is banish an equip spell from the graveyard just to put it on the field, and also it's a walking negate, which is amazing. This card is really good in the deck as a 1-of. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Rhoda. Rhoda is really good as a 1-of in the deck because this card helps you search out your warrior monsters from your deck to your hand. We then play 3 copies of Fusion Deployment. Fusion Deployment is really good in this deck as a 3-of because conveniently enough about this card is your copy of Bickery Box actually list both Dream Clown and Crass Clown as fusion materials, so you can real discard and summon out either one that you want. The only downside is this will actually lock you into fusion summoning for the entire turn, but unless you open up a copy of Neo Space Connector or Sublimation Knight, you're usually not going into the extract. You're just summoning out your copy of Crass Clown or Dream Clown and equipping it with equip spells, and this card just basically is like a copy of E-Telly for both of those cards, with making it super easy to get them out on the field. We then play a single copy of Living Fossil. Living Fossil is a definite one-of in the deck because this card just brings a monster back from the graveyard to your side of the field, which is a great ability. We then play a single copy of Broken Bamboo Sword. Broken Bamboo Sword is really good in this deck as a one-of because you do play a Bamboo Sword package in this build, and this card helps out a lot in the deck, just helping you with the consistency of draw power with Golden Bamboo Sword. We then play 3 copies of Power of the Guardians. Power of the Guardians is insane in this deck as a 3-of because it has the ability that if an attack is declared involving the equipped monster, you place a spell counter on this card. And the equipped monster gains 500 attack and defense for each spell counter on this card. And if the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle by card effect, you can remove a spell counter from this card instead, giving you some protection for your copies of Crass Clown and Dream Clown, which is really good about this card. I love this card as a 3-of in the deck because if you equip multiple copies of this, it will actually stack, which is super cool. We then play 3 copies of Moon Mirror Shield. Moon Mirror Shield is really good in the deck because we are relying on a normal summon in this deck, and this card gives you a lot of battle protection for that, which is just really cool. Is if the equipped monster battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, the equipped monster's attack and defense become equal to the attack or defense, whichever is higher, of the opponent's battling monster plus 100, making it so that your monster will always be the strongest monster on the field, which is just super cool about this card. I love this card because it makes it so easy to protect your copies of Crass Clown and Dream Clown. Since they're both basically the boss monsters of the deck, it makes it really easy to protect them from battles because your opponent's not going to want to swing into them, making it really easy to switch them from attack and defense position every turn so that you can pop cards, especially with the other cards we're playing in this build. We then play 3 copies of Cursed Bamboo Sword. Cursed Bamboo Sword is really good in this deck as a 3-of because if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Bamboo Sword card from your deck to your hand, making this card a definite 3-of in the deck because it's super easy to use with your copy of Awalt to just send this card to the graveyard and search out either a copy of Broken Bamboo Sword or Golden Bamboo Sword to guarantee that you're going to have one of your Bamboo Sword cards in your hand. I really like this card as a 3-of in the deck because it helps out a lot overall in this build. Just the consistency of the deck while also digging through the deck for additional cards. We then play 3 copies of Golden Bamboo Sword. Golden Bamboo Sword is really good as a 3-of because if you control a Bamboo Sword equip spell, you can actually draw 2 cards. And it's not a once per turn Pot of Greed effect. You can actually activate this card multiple times. If you draw into all 3 of these, you can activate all 3 of them if you have a copy of Cursed Bamboo Sword face up on the field or Broken Bamboo Sword on your field, which is just absolutely crazy. I love this card as a 3-of in the build because it helps us dig into more equip spells like Moon Mirror Shield or Power of the Guardians, which is just really nice. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing a few traps, and we're going to start off with 2 copies of Zero Gravity. Zero Gravity is really good as a 2-of in the deck because this card has the ability that you change the battle position of all face-up monsters on the field, which is super good to be able to just shift your copies of Dream Clown and Crass Clown into different positions so they can pop cards on the field. I feel like 2 is totally fine because we're also playing some other really cool trap cards. We then play 3 copies of Final Attack Order. Final Attack Order is amazing in this deck because if one of your copies of your clowns is shifted into defense position, they'll immediately shift back into attack position, which is just super cool about this card to ensure that you're going to get the effects off of your cards while also making sure that your opponent's monsters are in attack position so you can easily go through them with cards like Moon Mirror Shield equipped to your copies of your Dream or Crass Clowns. We then play 3 copies of Labyrinth of Nightmare, which funny enough is actually the name of a pack if you guys did not know that. But this card is really amazing because during the end phase of each turn, you change the battle positions of all face-up monsters on the turn player's side of the field, which is a great effect to be able to just shift your opponent's monsters into defense position or attack position, and it can really throw your opponent off as you're playing because they'll think they're going to leave their monster in attack position, forget that you have Labyrinth of Nightmare on the field, and they go, ah, my monster shifts to defense during end phase, and now it's in defense position, which is a little bit of a downside. And also if they attack with a monster, it'll then get shifted to defense position during the end phase. The only downside of this card is it doesn't affect link monsters, which is a little bit of a downside, but it's really good for us for our copies of our clown monsters, shifting them from attack to defense position, which is just really, really cool. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start with a single copy of Bickery Box. This card is really good as a one-of in the deck, just for our copies of Fusion Deployment. You're never going into this card, but it's a really cool old school card that you basically just reveal Fusion Deployment because it does list Crass Clown and Dream Clown as materials, so you can reveal this card and then be able to summon out either one of them that you want immediately from your extra deck, which is just amazing. We then play a single copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax. This card is just a good option in the deck that you can make every so often, and it's a great card overall in this build because it's really tough to deal with. We then play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code's great because it can pop multiple cards on the field, and it's just a great card overall. As you go through the extract, guys, you will notice that a lot of cards in the extract are just really good options because the extract is a lot of toolbox cards as you're going through it, so if there's anything that you want to change for budget reasons, you totally can. But this card is just overall fantastic in the build. We then play a single copy of Appaloosa. This card is good as a one-of because it is a monster negate and it's very easy to go into in this build, especially with the Isolde package. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn. Unicorn's great in this build as a one-of because this card helps out a lot in the deck at just spinning cards off the field. We then play a single copy of Raiton the Heavenly General. This card is really neat in the deck as well because it has the ability once per turn during the standby phase, you can target a face-up monster this card points to and special summon a level 4 or lower monster with the same type as that monster from your hand to a zone this card points to. And at the start of the battle phase, you can target a monster your opponent controls and destroy it, which is a pretty neat effect on this card. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Phoenix. This card is great to being able to pop spells and traps off the field. And play a single copy of Cerberus at popping monsters on the field, which is just really good about this card. Play 2 copies of Isolde. Isolde is what you always summon out of the extract, and this card is amazing overall in the extract because it lets you search a warrior monster on Link Summon, and also you can send equip spells from your deck to the graveyard, which is usually going to be 3 for your copy of Dream Clown to be able to special summon a warrior with an equal level. This card is amazing in the deck as a 2-of, and it's one of your main cards you're going to be summoning so you can get your copy of Dream Clown out on the field. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena. IP is really good because you can go in for your copy of Nightmare Unicorn during the opponent's turn, or your copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax on your opponent's turn, which is just super cool. Plus, it's very easy to do because all you have to do is make a copy of Isolde and get 2 monsters on the field to make your copy of IP Masquerena, pass over to the opponent, and then make Avermax, which is actually pretty easy to do in the build. We then play a single copy of Mechaquip Engineer. This card is great in the deck because it helps you swap the battle positions of cards, because once per turn during either player's turn you can detach a material from this card and then target a face-up attack position monster that you control and change it to defense position, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects this turn, letting you switch the battle positions of your clown monsters so you can pop and bounce more cards, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Downer Magician. Downer Magician is so we can make this card on your Mechaquip, which is just really good to be able to help you make an extra material under your copy of Zeus. We then play a single copy of Baguska because you can make it in the deck every so often. And this card is just really good because it does shift everything into defense position, which is insane. And then finally, we play a single copy of Double A Zeus. Double A Zeus is really good in this deck because it helps you board wipe the field and is overall a fantastic card. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I absolutely love how old school this deck is. And don't forget to comment down below what your favorite pack of all time is. Mine, again, is Metal Raider, which is just so cool because it's one of the first packs I ever opened. And it's such a cool pack. Like, I absolutely love all the old school cards like Dream Clown, Crass Clown, and stuff like that. And I love building decks like this because they're so cool throwbacks to old school cards. And it's so cool to be able to take an old school card like Dream Clown and build an entire deck based around it, which is just absolutely amazing. So that's going to do for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.